Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond Boundaries with Lisa Richmond. I'm Lisa Richmond, and this is Tarot Tuesday. So we're going to pull tarot cards, see what Spirit has to say. And for all of you who are joining and who have been here before, thanks for coming back. And if you're new here, if you stumbled upon this video, welcome, welcome, welcome. I pull tarot cards and I pull oracle cards, and we bring through whatever Spirit wants you to know and whatever you're supposed to hear today. I hate using that. Whatever has guided you here, there's a message for you. How about that? And I use oracle and tarot cards to help illustrate what Spirit is bringing through. I do it very intuitively and not necessarily traditionally with the tarot. And I don't use traditional anything really. It's just whatever Spirit is guiding me to do and say. So all of that is done. So thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. So I'm going to use a tarot deck today. It's called Cozy Witch Tarot Deck, and I mean, I love this. I love this tarot deck so much because number one, there's cats and everything, and I'm a huge cat person, and I find it is like it doesn't hold back. Like there's a lot of truth to it and it doesn't sugarcoat anything. That's for darn sure. Okay, what do we need to see today, Spirit? What's going down with us? Okay, we have, that's not a bad one to start off with. There is no cat in that one, but that's okay. All right, what do we got going on here? Whoop, we got a jumper. We got a jumper. Okay, that's interesting. Bet you're just dying to know what I've pulled, okay? Sorry, guys. I'll hold on here. Okay. Wow. Wow, there might be some energy here. So first we've got the King of Cups. Bingo, bango. We got King of Cups. Okay. So she's pouring herself a pour-over coffee. There's a little bird on the window. It's probably telling her something. And then after the King of Cups, we have the King of Swords. Okay. And then we have the Hierophant. So we have two kings and the Hierophant. So now here's the thing. Okay, I said this in my last video. I think it was my Thoughtful Thursday last week. I said this, that my readings and in tarot and everything, there's no gender specific. There is the masculine and the feminine energy. So I really want you to detach from the king being about a man and more about the masculine energy of doing. Okay. So we've got two kings and we've got the Hierophant, which also carries quite a masculine energy to it because it's very much in traditional, and we talked about before, don't really read traditional, but traditional tarot, we'll talk about the Hierophant as being like a spiritual guide from like a hierarchy of like a priest or a spiritual advisor or guru or something like that is at like a pristine level that has earned its way to the top in a very like I don't mean like ruler way, but like has earned their stripes kind of thing. And it says, tradition is important, but it doesn't have to be everything. That's the Hierophant. And you know what's so funny is that everything that I've said since it started coming through has been about tradition and being like, I don't read traditionally. It says traditional is important, but it doesn't have to be everything. Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, so let's start with the King of Cups, King of Swords. So Cups energy is very much about connecting to the heart, the emotions of things, going with that really compassionate leadership style. And then the King of Swords is kind of like on the opposite end of that, meaning like it's very like thought-based, and it's like, okay, I make my decisions based on everything that's lining up here that helps me definitively make my decision according to like what's going on. And then the Hierophant is kind of like the combination of the two. Is like you take the core leadership styles of the King of Cups and the core leadership styles of the King of Swords, and you put it together and you get this like Hierophant. So Spirit's wanting me to like really bring these energies together as saying like there is a big opportunity for you right now that has either come forward or will come forward, or you can feel this energy coming in where it's time for you to, number one, make some big decisions in your life. Like maybe it's decision time. Okay. And sometimes making these big decisions can be tough because you have to take into consideration all the cups and all the swords, right? All the emotions that go to it, but also the logics that go to it. But that's what makes the Hierophant so significant, because the Hierophant is about having these decisions, making these decisions, having these like being in that place. You've gotten to that place because you have an ability to take all things into consideration. So if somebody's chosen to sit in this like leadership position, it's because they have a great combination between the cups and the swords. That's the Hierophant. And so I feel like you might be working alongside somebody who is bringing all things into balance for you right now. It's like, okay, you're making these decisions. So it's a balance again. Balance. Oh, has that ever come in a lot? But like take into consider the emotional state of you and like where you sit and how it like resonates with you, where you're not going to do or like condone anything or like make the decision of this new job or make the decision to like go somewhere or incorporate something that doesn't align with like your true self and like who you are. Also, take all things into consideration, being like, okay, this all sounds really good, but like, is it conducive to my family life? Is it conducive to my need to travel? Or does it work with my schedule, right? Or like, I love you and I think that you'd be a great addition to the team, but like, are you going to be able to, like, are your triggers going to be able to work with their triggers? Like, are you guys going to be able to work together, kind of thing? Like, you're in the position to take all things into consideration, and you have that Hierophant energy. You have the ability to like to take all the cups and all the swords, like those it's like the north and the south, right? Or the east and the west, right? That is, you're able to actually determine like what it is that you're going to bring into play so that it all works. And it's really important actually that you're doing this, because there's going to be people who come to you. That's the Hierophant. There's going to be people that come to you, or like maybe you reach back and you're going to somebody else. You're going to this kind of advisor for a reason. Like look to this advisor and be like, okay, like, do you have a lot of experience in this area? Maybe they don't have all the like letters after their names, like they're not a doctorate of something, but maybe they have a lot of experience in that area. And you're like, okay, I really want to like lean into the experience and like learn from this. Or you're thinking you want to go into an area and you're like, but I don't have my doctorate in this area. Maybe you want to be like a spiritual coach, or you want to be, you know, a healer, but you haven't done all the courses on it, but it just comes naturally to you. Like, don't underplay the importance of having that experience where you've got the hearts, right? You got the cups, you got that experience of that mental, and then the swords. You've done a ton of research. You've listened to a ton of people in the area that are very, very good at what they do. You've listened to the podcast, you've read a ton of books, and you've had this life experience. You know, you've been through it. And so then the Hierophant is like, allow yourself to be that advisor, allow yourself to be that guide, or do the thing that's in you to do. But they're saying, because tradition it's important, but it's not everything. Maybe traditionally people only go into that if they go to university and they get their degree. And I'm not saying that that's not good. I'm just saying that to be really good in your field doesn't necessarily have to follow all the traditional things in the past that you've done. Okay? So the whole aspect of like tradition and following your gut with something, like allow yourself to know that your personal experience and the fact that you've been around the block a bit, like you've dealt with a lot of different people, and like you grew up in a house that you might have been able to like identify behavioral patterns of somebody, or you've been using your hands to heal people for years and you didn't even realize it, kind of thing. Like these are all the things that they're really wanting to confirm for you on giving you that momentum forward. So King of Cups, King of Swords, and Hierophant. Like, love this. Okay. I feel like, what do we want to use now? Okay, we're going to do a little bit of animal spirit, because animals, I mean, I think I say it every single time. Animals are the bomb. They're saying do that last, though. We need to go into the wisdom of the, oh, I love this. Okay. So I'm going to do Wisdom of Avalon guidebook here. Wisdom of Avalon. This is by Colette Baron Reid. This is my first oracle by Colette Baron Reid, and I use it. It's like my old faithful. It's the one that I go to where I have like such strong connection to all the things in this and all the pictures, and like it always is significant to me in different ways. Okay, Spirit, what do we need to hear? What does the collective need to hear? Dragon, power and strength. You don't say. Going with the King and the Hierophant, and then we get the Dragon. You guys are being called forward. There is a big message here about being called forward and hearing the call, and knowing that the death in reversed, feeling like you are being held back, or like the old paradigm of that old traditional aspect, right? That traditional way of doing things. There's the death of the old. I didn't show you the Dragon, the power card. That's significant too. Obviously, we're gonna feel into that. Okay. This is too many cards. One more, Spirit. Okay, so if we go into the, this is interesting, because what they gave me in combination was the Goblin, which is the ego. The Goblin always represents the human ego, and then it came with the butterfly, the transformation. Okay, so it's like the death, which is like essentially transformation card, the death of the old into the new. That's exactly what this is. Okay, so now I'm not saying that tradition is just based in ego. I'm saying that the ego, the human ego, comes in to keep us safe. And so when we are looking at the death of something and into the transformation of the butterfly, which we've used this analogy how many times, where you go into the chrysalis in that transformational period, it's so tough. It's actually painful. They turn to like mush. And that transformational process can be really tricky. But it's that death of the ego death is essentially what they're talking about right now, because it says the wounded human ego, the goblin. It's like, that's the death of the human ego. That's like ego death. And if you don't know anything about ego death, it doesn't have to be this crazy big, like painful experience. So you don't have to go like deep into it with plant medicine. It can actually be the transformation process into this up leveling, into this big up leveling from the King of Cups, Swords, and the Hierophant. Like that is like leveling up in your energy, in the timeline. It is, you are being called forward, whether physically in your career, whether it's in a position, whether you're being called up to like step up to your potential of where you're going, right? You're being called forward. This is the dragon energy, you guys. If you also haven't heard, dragon energy is huge right now. Like we are getting, as a collective kind of moves up in its frequency, we are being in closer connection with the guidance of the dragon energy. It's everywhere. Okay, and this is asking you to power up, to like strengthen your knowing, to know that you can like open your wings and you can fly in a very powerful way. And to be powerful, the dragon doesn't have to blow fire and just demolish everything. It can if it needs to. But just carrying itself and knowing its own power and strength has the ability to do whatever it needs to do. It doesn't have to do that, but it will if it has to. You know? And this is kind of the energy of this reading. This is the feeling of like this ego death, this thing that's holding you in this perspective of this ego. Like the ego tries to keep you safe. So when you're up leveling, when you're moving up in frequency, when you're being called forward and you are really up leveling, the human ego has a real hard time with that. Because it's like, hey, remember all the things that we do that keep us safe? Remember those things? I'm going to remind you of those so that you have fear, so that you don't change. Because change is hard, right? That is the human ego. We come in with it so that we do stay safe in situations, but it has no place in this higher dimensional frequency. Ego doesn't hang out in fifth dimension. Ego hangs out in third dimension. And as long as we're still human, we have that aspect of ourselves. But when we level up, it's like you have to acknowledge that the ego is trying to keep you safe, but that old traditional way of being, doing things, knowing things is what is dying away. And we are being called forward into this like new paradigm, this new energy field of strength, right? Moving up in frequency in this higher dimension isn't just like, la 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 la, I have no cares in the world. It is strength. It is determination. But it is different than that old paradigm of like power over people, demanding power so it keeps us at the top, right? That's old Hierophant. That's old tradition. They said that's not the way of the future. For us to be able to have our mentors and the people that we look up to help strengthen our intuitive knowing isn't saying to us, we are better than you, so listen to us and ignore your intuition. If somebody's saying that to you, that's not in your highest and greatest good. You are your own intuitive knower. And nobody's going to tell you better. They are going to say, from my experience, this is what I use to strengthen my own personal power and what I know. And then you can say, what a great system. I'm going to strengthen my own power and my personal knowing. Not, you're better than me because you do this. That's not the way it is. That is not. And if somebody's exerting their power over you using that fear technique, time to go. Time to strengthen up and get the hell out. Because that's not for you. And the ego death that's occurring can feel hard. The transformation is hard. It is. But just know there's a higher power at work and that you are way stronger than you think you are. Okay? You got the King of Cups. You got the King of Swords. You got your heart and your mind. You're connecting the two in order to create the environment and the energy that you know is a part of your evolution. You're just being called. Now's the time. It's the due time. You got all this power energy of going forward. Okay? Balance it out with a little bit of like chill time for sure. There's strength in rest and restoring for sure. Whew, I can feel that in my solar plexus chakra. That's like, ugh, I can feel it big time. Yay. Yay, guys. Okay, animal. We have the otter spirit. Oh, and they're in the... You are never alone. 42. Look at this cute little otter. It's like in the shape of a heart too. Oh, I love that. I can't get the like. Doesn't focus. Sorry, guys. Not a great focus. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen. But the otter spirit, let me read. Okay, I was just going to be like, blah, 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 and they're like, no, read it. Okay. Smallest writing in the world, guys. I gotta put on my glasses. This shows my age. Oh, okay. The otter spirit. You're never alone. Like true friends, otters nurture each other and express their affection through touch. Actions such as holding hands and giving hugs offer reassurance that we are never really alone and that we are always cherished. Otter spirit has appeared to remind you to experience and express friendship in a tangible and even tactile way. Communicate with your voice, your facial expressions, your gestures and actions, letting your love express itself beyond just the words you speak. Otter spirit's message is that presence matters. So remember to be fully present with those that you care about, helping them sense the love and affection and appreciation you have for them. King of Cups. That's King of Cups right there. Now is a time of joyful celebration of the love in your life that expresses its friendship and companionship. Hug someone, touch their arm, or simply look into their eyes with your full attention, saying, I care, you matter. Make time for friendship. Otter Spirit promises that the moment you reach out, you will remember that you too have many who love and care about you. You're never alone and you are always loved. I love that. I love that so much. Oh my gosh. So sometimes there's strength in numbers, right? There's strength in maybe you receive your power and your strength from community and creating a safe place. Maybe the death of the ego, the King of Cups, King of Swords, and Hierophant is all about how you are showing up in your community or in the get-togethers that are right around the corner. And then Elephant Spirit was just sitting here by itself, number 25. Elephant Spirit, learn from the past. Oh my gosh. Okay, like I'm just having like this like huge download and vision. I don't know who this is from, but it's like all of this is a collection of knowledge so that you can kind of sit in that Hierophant, King of Cups, King of Swords, with like that Hierophant energy because you've learned from the past. Because that learning from the past is creating that death of the old ego. It's saying, I'm not doing things that I did in the way before because I've learned from the past. I've learned that doing it that way no longer works. That traditional perspective no longer is present in my awareness because it doesn't work for me. Because that way of doing things no longer works for me. I've collected all my information, incorporated it into my core essence, and I sit in this Hierophant seat because I have the knowledge, I have the experience, I've learned from the past, and I'm creating this togetherness in my life because that's what's important through my heart space, Otter Spirit. Whew. Wow. Okay. Go out there and be your true authentic self. Know that nobody knows better than you. You know what's best for you. You're taking all the information from all the things and you're creating your collective knowing that you know, and hold that true to your heart and act in accordance to that, in alignment to what you know best. Okay? Thank you, Spirit, so much for coming in and guiding us through this beautiful reading. Hey, guys, if you would like a personal reading, jump onto my website, lisarichmond.ca, and you can contact me and we can find a space that works best for you. My readings are personal. We do it over Zoom, and it's super strong. I don't use cards. It's a just direct channel from your guides. So if you're looking to have a reading, jump out on that. I'm also on avalonspirit.com. Everything is in the description, and we go from there. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this community. It means so much to me. I love it so much, and I love the comments because I go through it and people are like so open and vulnerable and they share their experiences, and it just means so much to me. So thank you very, very much. And I hope that you guys had a great full moon weekend that we just had that was pretty powerful. And we're moving into more powerful energies here at the second half of December. So whenever you're watching this too, it's a timeless reading. Know that there's a powerful energy calling you forward right now, and to trust that. You know, it's time for you to say yes to this calling, okay? Awesome. I love you all so, so, so much, and I'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.